Okay, and now let's begin to tune in. Good. Both. Okay. So inhale. Oh, and breathe. And continue. Let's have a little time for healing for Nora, who is our angel. And continue. And inhale. And exhale. And breathe. And all of you, I just want to listen to you for Satnam. Okay, there's Japa Saraswati.
Satnam.
Satnam. And there's Agya Paul.
Satnam.
Oh, good. Okay. And there's Siddhi.
Satnam.
Satnam. And also Gyandas Prem.
Satnam.
Satnam. Good to have all of you. Okay, now remember, we don't have the a video just for your, if there's a picture there, that's fine, but also just your name. Do you understand?
Siddhi, would you turn off your video then? Would you turn yours off? Thanks.
Oh, good.
Thanks a lot.
Perfect. You're so cute. All of you are. Okay. So now, Baba Siri Chand says about trauma. 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 Okay, now in this, I'm telling you there's more to this. So this is also about trauma in your body. Next one is about trauma in your mind. Okay. And your emotions, both. I mean, because it's also together. And the third is about energy or the spirit or a different way of understanding that. Be sure that you're listening to Baba Siri Chan. And because there's so much there, um, try to have pen and paper. Okay.
Can I want to write it down, Siri Gian. Can you say it again that it's trauma in the body and where was the other trauma?
Yeah. Trauma is from Baba Siddhi Chan to understand your body, your mind, and your emotions. And the other is for your energy or spirit. Do you all get that?
Yes.
Good.
Thank you.
Okay. And for this, we usually have 3 minutes, but this one would be 4 minutes. You have a lot. Okay, because there will be a lot about that in the times. Okay, you understand that? Okay, now begin. Continue. And inhale. And exhale and breathe. Okay, good. How about Salt City? You have that?
Yes. Want me to go?
Yes.
Kind of shocked by what I heard, but I'm going to share it.
Okay, now, and wait a minute. Can you make it a little more loud?
Yes. Hold on 1 second. Is that better? Is that better?
Yeah, maybe I should have more with in my own.
Yeah.
Okay, let me see. Good. Oh, continue.
And I just turned myself off. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. Well, Baba Siri Chand just said, human beings have big hearts, but they're very hard-headed.
Big heart. What?
Big hearts. Humans have big hearts, but they shut them down and they're very hard-headed. And trauma is the the mechanism for breaking through that hard head and guarded heart to transform the Piscean people into Aquarian people.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and I got a little tap on the shoulder saying, Sut City, you got to get back out there and teach. It's very, very important. Our daily sadhana, especially the meditative part, where we can practice heart breath a lot more all the time because trauma is the mode of transformation from the Piscean age to the Aquarian age because it is breaking. Our hearts break for the Gazans, our hearts break for the South Africans.
Heartbreak?
Heartbreak is a tool for opening the heart and the third eye and seeing reality as it is. And just got keep up, and deepen my own practice and then get off my, this is the word, sorry ass.
What is it? Say it again.
I'm a little embarrassed to say it. I got the message, get off your sorry ass, Sut City. And I was told exactly where I should go to teach.
Oh,
Right up the street. Just no excuses anymore, no, but heart breath, nonstop, and teaching and meditating as much, especially early in the Amrit Vela. So just that trauma is the tool of breaking open the heart chakra, opening the third eye, and building human compassion and opening the heart to love globally. That moving from an Piscean person to an Aquarian person. That's it in a nutshell. Sorry about the naughty language.
well, that's huge. Isn't that good?
I love Baba Siri Chand. For me, he's pretty tough. He's like a real straight shooter.
Oh, wonderful. Okay. So is that it?
That's it. I mean, I'm putting it
It's
in a
huge.
nutshell.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah,
Thank,
I don't want to take time the message was really straight to the heart.
okay, good. Thank you.
Satnam.
Okay, I'll give Paul.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, City.
Satnam.
I when I started listening to Baba Siri Chand, um, I just told him I don't want to hear it.
What?
Yep. I just said to him, trauma, I don't want to hear it. The terrible disasters that's wreaking havoc on Gaza, the Israelis, what they're doing to in Gaza. Trauma. I hear what Sut City says, and what Baba Siri Chand said is that we all are a set of systems. We have a nervous system, and we have a circulatory system, and we have, we're just a set of systems that are intricately intertwined. And when one system is, for lack of a better word, thrown out of whack, attacked or not allowed to settle naturally, that system affects the other systems that, at least that we're aware of, and maybe those that we aren't aware of. And so he, what he, uh, you know, emphasized is the fact that we are just a set of intertwined systems, and when we are when one of the systems is acted upon um, without love, from any other dimension and love, it is the seed for trauma, because then it propagates, and it's protracted into the other systems. And so not to forget okay, so he emphasized to me that you know when we act towards others, or we're acted toward ourselves in ways that are not loving, this is actually traumatic, in various degrees. And that he just kind of was really straight with me, and it's like, you got to love yourself, you've got to be in a space of love spiritually, and and a big thing about gratitude, and giving to Guru, and thanks, and no matter what the issue is, even if one feels traumatized, give it to Guru for healing. And what healing means then is to bring the systems back into a settled state, if you will. And what's happening inside us is reflected, outside us, and that those of us who are really tuned are attuned to the spiritual realm and um, meditate and so forth are, more susceptible or more tuned in, shall I say, to this lack of love that is is floating around in the world. It's polluting the world.
Mm.
And so, and that's trauma, what I heard. And so he reminded me uh that um I need to stay in a space of love no matter what. That is the ultimate protection against traumatic, causing trauma for someone and being the target of trauma for someone, something, some system, some organization. And because he said that love is like the heart is like a volcano and it's very, very strong. So stay in the heart, stay in the space of love. And and if we all can stay in this, remember to bring ourselves back into the state of love, then trauma for ourselves, and also it will ease the trauma for others. That is to say, it will bring others closer to love for themselves. Yeah, that's what I heard.
Waheguru.
Amazing.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
So I'll give Paul.
Yes, ma'am.
So now that you know all of that, what, and you go to the news, what do you do?
I go into, yeah. So first what I do is I get goosebumps all over. I really get affected by it. Sometimes I'll even tear up but then of course that's not going to help anybody, but then what I do is I move into a space of sending light and love and projecting, like we say, a lighthouse of light and love to all these people that are suffering. But I know that the Siri Guru Granth Sahib says that suffering is the medicine and pain is the pleasure is the disease. And that's still a little hard for me to swallow, but that's what I do. I just move into a state of love, if not immediately. That's my goal for myself, for all my clients. Oh my God, talk about trauma. My clients are just going unbelievably going through it. I had to sit last night afterwards in just sending love and light to them and to myself, because I can relate to every single little thing they're talking about. I'm no different than they. And so it's close to home, I guess is what I want to say. And it's also it's everywhere. People forgetting to love, forgetting to love themselves, forgetting where they came from. They were given life. And so I guess that's what I do. It makes, as I'm talking to you, it makes me feel really sad and um, and so I make an intention to always go back to a space of love.
Wonderful. Okay. So what you said is for everything with this, I'm going to say with crappy or with trauma or upset, and we know about what may happen. Well, we know it's going to happen. So we know what to do, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. So when it comes, immediately, can you move love immediately?
Well, that's what my practice is. Maybe I need practice, but that's certainly my intention to move into a space of love.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when I drive down Main Street in Middletown near where I live, and I see lots of homeless people sitting on the sidewalk, and some of them crippled and so forth. And I um I feel traumatized when I see this, right?
Mm-hmm.
I traumatized to the extent that the only thing I can do is move into a space of love.
Mm-hmm.
And to recognize that and give it to Guru. Please help them. Please help everybody who's lost and lonely, and all the living beings. So, I mean, that's my prayer in the morning, is for for everyone and everything and every living being.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. Now I
Yeah.
want to ask you one more thing.
Okay.
When uh when you think about Trump, well, and also Netanyahu,
Mm.
what
Oh, yeah.
what do you do
Um,
immediately? What do you do?
I think I go into neutral,
There.
and
Mm-hmm.
um because and then I go into asking God for grace to guide us in the way that is best for our country. But I think um yes, I know. I go to neutral, and then into a space of love. I try I've well for quite a long time I would go into a space of judgment. This a-hole, I just, blah blah, and so forth. And now I feel as though I've moved, I've grown, I guess, and I realized that to judge somebody is really not my business. And I I moved to neutral, and then into a space of love for Biden. I'm most really concerned about him, and love for everyone, Trump, Netanyahu, the whole nine yards.
Mm-hmm.
But I
Amazing.
think the key is to initially, like you said, immediately just go in to neutral.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Okay. So this is,
Yeah,
we're talking about light workers, right?
yeah, right.
Yep.
And did you say something about um, your being in love space? What does
Yeah,
what does that happen around you?
yeah. Well, I think when I'm in a space of love, I settle, my systems are settled, and around me, uh, I'm not sure I see effects of it, but I know I'm feeling and I'm projecting love, um, and then just having faith that that love is going to be intelligent and know what is best, what is most loving for whomever, whatever. Um, but that's the space of love. It feels really when I can be in that space, like I'm with you guys and in a supportive space like that, it's so easy to be in this in this love space, and it's it feels great, and um I feel impervious to any uh, if attack or any traumatic, um but I what I have to do is kind of build that up into more of an armor than a maybe a transparent armor than just a love space. But
Mhm.
that's work for me to do. um um
Is is that what City was talking about? More sada, more meditation,
I
massage?
know, it's just like, I couldn't, if I could go through the day, uh I should at all times of the day is to be, reciting the mantra, or feeling, love for someone or my puppies, or like you mentioned last week, when you see somebody, you say, "Oh, isn't that a pretty whatever?" And that song, it came to me afterwards, um, "What a Wonderful World." And it's like when you are saying something like that, what you're really saying is, "I love you." And I practice that.
Hmm.
Uh, and that's how I stay in a space of love. And for me, the work is keeping the fear out. The fear comes, knocking at my door, like a lot. And and I know it's primal, and I know if I can go into a space of love, fear is not able to penetrate. I know that in my head, in my mind, and um, I just have, and I just have to do a little bit more work on that, being
Hmm.
fearless, being a warrior. We all have to be warriors now.
That's right. How wonderful.
We got hard jobs to do. It's like we can't just sit around anymore. It's like we got to be, hard work warriors of love.
Yeah,
Satnam.
is that hard to do that?
Um, um, that's a great question.
Mhm.
That's a great question. It could be very challenging. Um, it, um, but not to shy away from it. Yeah, it's not easy
Why?
to be a Satnam warrior.
Mhm. But what if you immediately want or make love?
I know. That's
And
what
how
I
does
should
that
do.
feel?
Yeah, you're right. Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you.
There
Because
you go.
that's the best weapon, that's the strongest weapon against trauma.
Mhm. To be present with love.
Okay.
Isn't that fun?
I'm writing that down. That's great. Just
Okay.
to be present with love, in love with love, and so forth. I love that. Thank you.
Mhm. Wonderful. Okay. Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you.
Okay. So, Gian das Prem.
Yes. Oh my, thank you. Wow. So I was in the water and I found I was in the ocean and Bubba was telling me this is where you are and pushed me down under the water and I had to find my way back out of the water to see that I thought I was losing my breath. I don't know if we've all experienced this, but our shared experiences and noticing our shared experiences of if we've ever been in the water that we thought we were drowning and we can see the light as we're swimming for the surface, we're thinking that we're not going to make it. And we know that we can't breathe underwater because if we try to breathe underwater, then within our mind, we know that we'll probably die, right? Or something to the effect of not seeing the light that's above the water that we're in. And he was this how this came about was this morning I was actually noticing parts of my body through my breathing and the outflow and of the prana of directing it to that area of my body where I may feel that I noticed it was broken at one time during a trauma and coming back to noticing what part of that didn't heal and breathing into that you know and I think that's part of the spirit that comes through us, that when we take that elements from the outside, representing the water, of being lost in the water, of my body is mostly water. And Bubba's just showing me like I'm a puppet, he'll take parts out of me that he wants to because he's not me, right? And this is part of everything that's around me. But then again, it is me. This is all everything that's together, right? That we're made from all together in this shared experience. And just, within the water, I think, and the noticing. And then, I've noticed myself within that situation. And then he just brings me to showing a baby, how when the water and the baby just came all out and just, that and there it is, and there's the choice. And basically he gave me X plus Y equals love, and the man and the woman, and how we have a shared similar experience, but we all come from one to become these, added things. And with how the visuals were coming, it's, it can get really ugly. Um, and it's just referring to the other animals that were here before us through all the generations of millions of years of all the other animals and how they use their diets and how they use their voices. And yeah, it was a wolf, and the wolf can sing and make all of these sounds, but at a time they would eat us as part of their diet, and noticing that person and the wolf and myself, and having to go through that mind and body trauma to come out with the spirit that says, okay, am I going to go at the wolf for doing what it did to my loved one? Or am I going to see what all of this big picture is trying to show me, which I think, in a sense, that, showing of that, witnessing of that, allowing of that, noticing of that, and then coming to some sort of an understanding, for that total picture of allowing and accepting and bringing that all in to, relook at it again so that I can focus my breath on it as the part of my body that I'm trying to heal, that I was, in this trauma, in this point of, denial of the substances that make me be what I am, and coming close into that trauma of noticing like this bag of bones and water that I'm trying to come out of, and that's what he just did, was just sort of pull me out of myself to look up above, to notice that, what is here is all within what we use, and how we use it is within the choices that we make in our mind, and that we do have the ability to change. We also will be tested continuously, and the simplicity of which he showed it to me was walking, that we don't walk as we used to, and within that walking we have a sight and also a feel, that there are people who do not have ability to use their eyes, but they have a feel to move about. There are other senses that some of us are shorter on, that we use our other senses to. And within that, we're sharing all of that alchemy. And this is what part of the awakening of the entire human race is sort of going to be, within that Shakti of, it's your mind that is ultimately handling your thoughts and where you go, and you are your own protector. And we do it as a group, and when we combine in the way of thinking and open that communication to be of sharing, right? Because sharing is caring. And then just back to the mom plus dad equals me, and how do I go from within me to create, the new generation of what we're doing here now. So, and the freedom is the way of the equality of looking at both sides and saying, you do this with vigor, I do this with love. Eventually we'll come together, and we'll find that way to love each other. If we can, keep ourselves open, keep our sights open, keep our souls open, so that we know we've been here before, part of this, all this lovely dust and water and shapes and beautiful colors. And yes. And then when the baby drops on the ground, it just sort of goes, ah, right? Ah. And why guru to that? Because, yeah, as far as the explanation can goes, it also can go away and just, show us in sort of that breath. And why guru to that? Yeah. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, dear.
Thank you. Why guru?
Okay. Okay, so now for Japa Saraswati.
Satnam. So this is different today because of the pen and paper. So I wrote trauma at the top, and then I wrote energy, body, mind, and emotions. And then I would focus on each one of those. And I felt myself writing what I can only describe as messages from Baba, but they don't also, anyway, let's see where it goes, because it looks like a web on my paper. So the first one that Baba just said really loud and clear with emotions, I heard trauma bonding, and especially as you, Siri Gian, the cue, or part of what I heard was about in the times. And so that in the times, there's going to be a lot of opportunity for trauma bonding because we're all going through it. But we
What
have
kind
to,
of
the
bond? I'm sorry, what kind of bond?
trauma bonding,
Oh, trauma bond.
like, yeah, so it means like if you go through a hard experience and somebody happens to be next to you or with you, that the two of you produce a lot of cortisol and adrenaline and dopamine together in in the mix, but also it can be used like part of what I remembered about trauma bonding was there was a time, this was really a clear message for me. There was a time that I got into a girl was crazy with me. She was crazy. I reported it, and the person that I reported it to wanted me to do some kind of a mediation together with her. And it was like the woman just out of absolutely nowhere attacked me. I didn't, like, and I said, and I turned it down and I said no, because I felt that it would be trauma bonding with me and her. And I think that's why she attacked me, was she was looking for the trauma bond. And I said, that's for her to deal with on her own. I don't need to pick this up. I don't need to get involved with this anymore. And that was part of the message from Baba, was about trauma bonding and remaining in our sovereignty. And just as Sat City said about doing our sadhana is going to be really enriching for our radiant bodies. And part of our radiant bodies, that's part of what helps us to be sovereign. And what's the other word that I'm thinking of? It begins with an R. Not regal, not royal. Oh, it'll come to me. Um, anyway, so with trauma bonding, just to be in that place of sovereignty within ourselves so that we don't emotionally so a trauma bond with people um that was under the emotion section, and then it went to energy. And my message about energy was about, especially in the times, there's going to be a lot of energy vampires of people who want to use or misuse our individual energy. And once again, it's about that sadhana and that sovereignty. Like the sadhana helps us to develop a rhythm within ourselves where we are listening to our own rhythm. We are listening to our own breath, and that's going to help us remain sovereign, as able to identify when energy vampires come around us, that they want to use or misuse our energy. And the other message I got from that was about COVID, that when COVID happened, remember how low energy everybody felt? That was the beginning of us getting ready and learning how to do this really sovereign thing with our energy. Part of that quarantining and isolation was about us getting into our own individual rhythms and energy cycles, and realizing what was a good use of our energy and what was a bad use of our energy, and learning how to curate our experience. But the message with trauma and energy, in order to not let in order to protect our energy bodies. Oh yeah, that was part of it, energy bodies. So Baba really, he played with this, that like our energy bodies they're definitely our radiance, and that's what people, if they do want to misuse us, that our sovereignty comes from, like, they're attracted to our energy body, and our sovereignty comes equally from strengthening our energy body. And then for under the section of body, um, and body trauma, I got a lot about accidents, but also about ego identity and identifying with the trauma, and that trauma is stubbornness in both the body and the spirit. So, like, and then the next part of the message was about like what I felt like. It was like surfing the energy, that there will be energy waves, which are vritti, undulations of the mind, and that we have to stay in neutrality so that we can surf those energy waves during the challenging times. And what that means is that even when there are accidents or like crazy things are happening, that we are staying in that place of neutrality and not identifying too heavily with the trauma, because there's going to be traumatizing things happening around us all the time, you know, for the rest of our lives. We're in a time of kind of turmoils, and there's going to be traumas around us. So what we need to do is not identify with the trauma. And by not identifying that, or part of that is staying with our sadhana and bringing us into neutrality. And then the next section was for mind and what kind of traumas can happen to the mind. And this is equally like part of identifying with the trauma. And so what I saw was both astrological and astronomical. So in astronomy, there's going to be events like unprecedented astrological and also meteorological events happening that that are really sweeping, like the eclipses and like some of these things where the planets are lining up, and just these things like this. And also within our personal astrology, there are times that are going to be more likely for us to be um, susceptible to things, or just more prone to a certain to and so that's how we can kind of hurt our mind, was what Baba showed me. Or not that we can hurt our mind, that our mind is susceptible to um, traumas when there are these unprecedented astrological and astronomical things, and also accidents, overindulgence, and lifestyle. That was the other thing that that he showed me, was that like, so the mind can be traumatized by by an accident, like a physical accident, or or witnessing an accident. You know, like you can get such a shock that it really and then also like with brain damage and lifestyle. Baba showed me about sugar and about alcohol and about like salty fatty foods, and like that lifestyle will really in the long run affect the health of the mind, and that people who are suffering mentally um, can, like, my message was to basically make sure that I'm clean with my diet and my lifestyle, because there's a lot of unprecedented astronomical events on the horizon, and that I need to maintain my strength and my health by just living a right lifestyle. And the next part of that I saw was the line from Japji, which says, well, the translation in English is what you eat is what you sow. And that, as far as trauma, but also as far as diet, about trying to grow our own food and taking the efforts to really eat healthfully. But he meant it also energetically, like the energy that we put out is the energy that's coming back to us, and that we have to be a bit more intentional about putting out the right vibes in order to just keep ourselves tuned up to not put ourselves in position of trauma during 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 these events.
Wow.
Yeah, that was it. That was
Odd.
pretty. I liked the having it on the paper, but you should see my paper. It looks like a big spider web. Like with all of these things, like, and it really flowed too, but it looks wild.
Okay. So, Japa Saraswati, I would
Mhm.
every session use that on pen and paper for you
Okay.
and
Okay.
and anybody else do that. But stay with Baba's signature. That was amazing. Okay.
Thanks.
Okay.
I want to say also just how incredibly moving the other messages were for me today to listen to Sat City and to Agyapal and to Gyandas Prem, like really huge messages today. I really, really appreciate it.
Isn't that extraordinary? I would
Mhm.
love for each of you to put your messages and Japa Saraswati, is there a place that each one can put the place for them?
Yeah, do you want to email it to me or text it to me?
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah. And
Okay.
then I put it in the video descriptions, or most of the time I put it into the video descriptions. So whatever you guys text back to me, I'll put on the video description for the playback, which is I find it really cool. I find that it's a nice way to think about these meditations.
Hmm. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay. Isn't Baba Siri Chand the best? Isn't Baba Siri
Mm-hmm.
Chand the best love? That's so
Mm-hmm.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Siri
Just
Gian, can I
uh-huh.
just say one quick thing that I forgot?
Oh
Um,
yes.
what I got above Siri Chand is this image of the heart as a well,
Mhm.
and that the love we all like. I think that I can't love anymore, or I'm empty of love, and that well is like all we have to do is put down that bucket. It's an endless source. Love is an endless source, and it's
Mm.
like a well, and we just need to drop that bucket down into the well with our intention, with our prayer, with our meditation, and it's always already fully and totally available infinitely. So we talked a lot about when I was really active in the at solstices and stuff about infinity. And isn't that something about the Aquarian age? There's a deep relationship with love as infinite. So for me, what I'm realizing is or was realizing in this meditation today was that love is infinite.
Oh,
I don't have to be infinite because infinity is really accessible through love. I hope I'm making sense, but
amazing. Wonderful. Okay, so everybody now listen what you are talking about. Let's do that now and just how do you say that? Just feel feel what you all have learned and felt.
mm.
Just feel it now for another minute. Keep it together. And inhale. and continue. This is who you are. You know that. That presence is pure love. All of you. Love you all. That was so wonderful to listen from and to know that. Okay. So who's going to be the leader for the song?
I'll do it.
Okay.
May the
Long
long time sun shine upon you.
you.
All
All
love
love
surround you. And
and
the
love
pure
pure
within
you.
guide your way on. Guide
Guide
your
your
way
way
on.
on.
Guide
Guide
your
your way
way.
on.
Now,
Love.
love you all.
Love you all.
Love you all.
Love you. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Love you.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Love you